Bryant.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Ring out the old, ring in the new, wrote Tennyson on the death of his much-loved friend. And we proclaim, the Queen is dead, long live the King. But it feels too sudden, too soon, too sharp a turn in our lives, because the death of the Queen is painful. It hurts. We don't have to ask, "Oh, death, where is thy sting?" because we know. The nation feels that sting of death. It is as if a member of our own family has departed, and weirdly we feel as if we ought to tell the members of our family who've already long departed the news. Even Google, with its brightly coloured logo, is grey today, which is sort of ironic for Her Majesty, who wore every colour under the sun at some point in her life. The poet, priest and Member of Parliament John Donne said, when preaching to Whitehall in 1627, that the best protection against a fearful death was a life devoted to a calling. Well, that's exactly what it was, wasn't it? A life devoted to a calling. How often must she have thought, not another opening, not another Royal Variety performance, not another unfunny comedian, not another Prime Minister. Yet she did her duty in the words, perhaps, of the Boy Scouts and the Guides promise, to do my best, to do my duty to God and to the Queen. She did her duty to herself. I pledged my allegiance to her 10 times as a clergyman and as a Member of Parliament, and of course we all have, and to her heirs and successors. And in one sense, that's not personal at all. Our allegiance was to her as head of state, the embodiment of our shared life as a United Kingdom. But I suspect we all also felt we owed allegiance to her personally, because she had earned her moral authority. She donned a uniform to do her bit to fight fascism. She could not lead us into battle or give us laws or administer justice, but she gave us her heart and her devotion to these old islands and to all the peoples of our Brotherhood of Nations, as she herself faithfully promised in 1957. There are other queens. I've met a few. But then again, too few to mention. But we, and I note also the President of France, only call one the Queen. Her face was on the coins my constituents started producing at the Royal Mint in Llantrisant in 1953. But to mix my poets, she knew our little systems have their day. We are dressed in a little brief authority. I know some people deify the monarchy, but I think that's to miss the point. The point is the humanity of the monarchy. Richard II, under whose great hammerbeam ceiling Her Majesty will lie in state in a few days' time, is given a great speech by Shakespeare, which ends, "You have mistook me all this while. I live with bread like you, feel want, taste grief, need friends." Not just bread, of course, marmalade sandwiches as well. Most movingly of all, I think, she was as human as any other widow in losing her husband, her consort, her life companion. None will forget her sitting alone at Philip's funeral. It is a sign of their enduring love that her and Philip's deaths came closer in time than any other reigning monarch and their consort in our history. And I thank God that it was in her reign that men were able to declare their love to one another, and women were able to do the same. I end with words that have never felt more appropriate, I think, than for our longest reigning monarch, who lived through Holocaust and war and led us through years of unimaginable turbulence. The weight of this sad time we must obey. Speak what we feel, not what we ought to say. The oldest hath mourned most. We that are young shall never see so much, nor live so long. God save the King. Yeah.